Hi everyone, it's July 21st, 2025, and I'm so excited to share such wonderful stories and new signs, and let's get started. God is so real, and it's like the heavens are working overtime to really get that message through to us in these critical times, and through nothing other than out of the mouths of babes, children, that innocence, that truth, things that they can't possibly know and yet they see on the other side. I'm going to link 3 videos below and refer to them now. You may have heard about the first video. So there's a boy named Kason, and he's lying in a hospital bed after experiencing an accident on a skateboard, okay? And he's lying there and suddenly slips into another dimension where he sees with his real eyes, while still fully conscious, Christ. He sees heaven and he speaks to Christ. And he says things like, "Jesus, when are you coming back? We need you." And I know he'll save everyone. Oh my gosh, this child, I can't imagine watching this with dry eyes. I mean, it's so incredibly profound and touching. I'm going to share the link below. This is the first of 3 links, okay? The second one is an update from his mother, Kason's mother, who said that this actually happened a year ago. And by the way, he's absolutely fine. But it happened a year ago, but it wasn't time to share it with the world yet. But this video's gone viral, which again, you may have seen. I know I've sent to some of you, and you may have seen it. But this second video answers a lot of the questions that we have had watching the video. And the third one, oh my goodness, 3 boys, separate stories, have near-death experiences. Seeing Christ, again, just incredible, but again, near death, so they died temporarily and experienced this. I know many of you, like me, have studied near-death experiences. I have for 30 years, and they're so profound. I love learning, because we can learn more about where we came from and where we're going. But the third boy, Colton, that kid is way beyond his years. And you see him after this happened, some years after, but he was 4 when he experienced this. And he describes heaven. And the 2 things that just knocked me over was he talked about the new colors that you see in heaven, that we see more colors, different colors in heaven. And I immediately think of Archangel Michael, who I wrote 2 books with about the new earth. Michael's Clearing Call and the New Sun. This was from the New Sun. Are you noticing the colors yet? I am talking about the new colors that are showing up in the skies. Yes, including in your sunrises and sunsets. There are actually new colors that are being beamed to you, and there is reason behind this. Color carries energy, and as you continue to raise your vibrations, you are able to see colors that could not be perceived by your eyes before. When you begin to see new colors, they are another signal to you that you are shifting. Do not worry if you do not see them, you eventually will. And then he talks about the new sun, and that is bringing us liquid light. But this, when Colton mentioned the new colors, it was just validation yet again. Back in 2001, when I started channeling Archangel Michael, and he's talking about the new earth, most of the things that I shared, I never even heard of before. So it was pretty scary putting this out there. I'm so glad I trusted. So, because over the years, there's been more and more and more validation. And here from this 4-year-old who brings up the new colors. I mean, incredible. He also talked about the animals he saw in heaven, and that he was playing with the lions, and it's not like the animals in the wild here. And it made me think again of Archangel Michael, who in Michael's Clarion Call talked about the wild not being so wild. He says this: think about what it would be like living as an animal in the wild. You have to fight for your sustenance. Your shelter may be bulldozed and destroyed. You are born into having natural enemies. You have difficulties that throw you into fear and attachment, not knowing where your next meal will come from and if something was out to get you. The survival rate is best for the fittest, and the lesser are at great disadvantage and at great risk. There is camouflage, hiding, and constant efforts not to be seen by prey. Life in the wild has generally mirrored humanity. Watch how life in the wild will also evolve to mirror the new ways of the human. Incredible. So he brings up two things that Archangel Michael has validated many years ago. And, you know, when he first said that about the wild, I was like, really? That's like incredible. And then over time, this had to be before 2011 when I channeled that, all of a sudden, you know, he's seeing these videos, as you have too, of people out there with the lions, like hugging them and just like this loving experience with them, just hugging them and playing with them and everything, just like this boy describes. The bottom line is it's validating how heaven is being brought to earth. So what they're seeing in heaven, we're going to eventually experience on earth. And these are really powerful times right now to hold on to the faith in God, faith in Christ, faith in our salvation, which I keep sharing these amazing signs that we will be okay. Just stay really close to God through this and trust God. Our new earth is ahead. So now I want to share some powerful symbolism I saw in the sky day after day after day, right in a row. On July 12th, Archangel Michael's sword, I see this huge cloud, but it's actually a trail that Michael used, I believe, to create this huge, massive sword in the sky. So I took this picture of it. And then I walked further to get a couple more pictures where it was more in the clear and you could see it better. And right after I take these two pictures, this guy walks up to me and he says, see those two flowers there? And he said, it's all amidst all that green, you know, in the dune. All the green, and there's just that little bit of color. He said, I'm like, that makes me feel so good. I am so like distraught over all that's going on in the world. And I just look at those flowers and just, you know, taking it in. He was speaking like me, you know, that's how I see, you know, always looking for every bit of beauty, right? And it also made me think afterwards of Archangel Michael's words again. He said in the new sun, rest your eyes on that which you are grateful for. Rest your heart on that which fulfills you. Rest your whole being on things that keep you in a state of love. This will help you immensely in your transition. So anyways, this guy immediately starts talking truth or talk. He sounded, again, like me, like I talk. Seeing things the way I see them, so like-minded. it was incredible. Like, we ended up talking a really long time, went and sat down and just talked about so much. And it turns out he's a vet, okay? And he's a warrior, and he's spiritual. He's not religious like me. And, but what was interesting was the timing of our meeting. Here I'm taking a picture of Michael's sword. And I said to him, I was pretty bold, bringing this up, but you know me. And a dragonfly just came right toward me. And I said, don't you think it's interesting? I said, look at that cloud up there. Well, it's not really a cloud, it's a trail, as you know. But it's a sword, right? I mean, to me, it's clearly a sword, a symbol of a sword. And to me, Archangel Michael's sword. I told him that I'm very connected to him. And I said, here we're talking truther talk. We're talking warrior talk, really, you know, and being aware of what's going on and spreading the word and all these things. Don't you think it's amazing that we meet right when I'm here taking pictures of this? And you say these things that, you know, you probably don't say to just anyone on the street. It's like on some level, well, this was a divine orchestration. And he totally got that, you know. So that was a wonderful experience. I know I'm missing stuff. There was just so much synchronicity with that meeting. I was like bowled over. So on July 13th, the very next day, I'm going to the water, and my friend calls out and says, hey, Mary, look at that. Looks like Jesus coming out of the water. And it did. I mean, that person, the figure coming out of the water did look like Jesus, you know, with the long hair and everything, and just this slow, graceful walk out of the water. And I mean, he was kind of teasing me, I knew, but I knew there was something to it, you know, bringing up Jesus, okay? Then I walk about 5 minutes just to the other side of the pier and look up and see this. I call it the hands of God symbol. Clearly hands, okay? And I shared it on, you know, I'm not on, I take very long breaks on Facebook with my main account due to reasons you probably know. But I have a fake account, and I, you know, for truthing, but also I post in groups and things like that. And I posted this. Actually, I ended up posting all these pictures I'm going to share. But I posted this one, and my friend Pat sees it, and she comments. Here's what she says. So, again, validation. I mean, the hands and that, you know, divine image, validating the message. Not only that, but Pat, this very spiritual person working hard for the earth, for humanity, she is the same person that I met just down the road here at the coffee shop. I told you the story a year ago, and she was the one where she was with a friend, and I had my wired earphones in, and so I didn't hear anything. But the second I took out the one earplug, she said, Archangel Michael. So it's that person, which is just incredible to me. The next day, July 14th, this is what I see in the sky. To me, a big eye. And if you follow my work, you know the symbolism of that. On July 15th, it rained, so I didn't go to the water. It was pouring rain. July 16th, I'm late, it's always good when I'm late. When I'm late, there's a reason. Because as I'm heading over the bridge, I see this. The first thing I saw and knew to take a picture right away was what felt to me was Christ's face, okay? A profile of his face with a crown on his head and a beard. But then, and I'll show the picture in a moment again, but it's like amidst like angel wings, okay? And almost had a warrior feel to it. I'm like, is that Archangel Michael? No, it's Christ. Archangel Michael? No, it's Christ, okay? That's what I was doing in my head. But my first feeling was Christ, definitely. And still when I look at it, I see Christ, but almost like they're melded, okay? And definite warrior feel, like a sword starting to come out of it. And how ironic is it last night when I'm suddenly deciding I'm gonna make this video, I was actually researching Colton, the boy that saw the new colors and how the wild animals in heaven that aren't wild. And he was describing a scene of the final war on Earth. Quote, he told me that the final war was coming, Colton said. Jesus had a sword and he was going to fight the monster, unquote. I just saw it last night, right before I'm gonna make the video. And it was the first thing I opened up when looking up Colton. Colton Burpo, his name is. And by the way, there is a movie and a book about his experience, if you're interested. Heaven is for Real, I believe it's called. But it mirrored Revelations where Christ returns on a white horse to lead the armies in heaven. I mean, it's just incredible, like these signs, you know, it's just like to be aware. And this is why I've shared them again, especially since I can see clearly now since 2008, because it's like until we can all really hear, you know, signs are truly an amazing way for God, Christ, the highest of the high, to connect with us. So those were the cloud signs, right in a row. And I want to refer now to my last video where I said I was planning to come to the beach to create this video, and but I was guided to go to that where I launched my kayak, and I really and look, isn't it funny, the bugs are really bugging me now, but they weren't so bad. But I didn't expect to be able to, because the no-see-ums are so, especially the flies are one thing, but the no-see-ums bite and it's very distracting. I'm like, really? But I went there, got a message from the guy. I won't go into it again. Hopefully you saw it. But then I also mentioned that about the deer, that I saw that deer, and I'm like, why am I saying this? But it was definitely guided, because I'm like, is this really relevant? Remember, my last video was again about our being saved, these same signs, because I keep being asked to have the lifeguard stand in the picture as a symbol of our being saved. I was saved in the water. I won't go through all of it again, but the same symbol, lifeguard stand, okay? 7 days after I created that video, a deer was saved by lifeguards in the water here at Flagler Beach. I will also include the news report on that. These two lifeguards were out there saving a deer that was definitely very troubled out in the water and was saved. So that's, oh, I got goosebumps when I think about how I didn't really want to share that about the deer, and I said hopefully its mom is around or something like that. I'm like, I just knew I had to talk about this deer. And then 7 days later, a deer was saved by lifeguards. If you made it this far in the video, I want to congratulate you, because You guys, I'm very well aware, I don't talk about it, but I'm very well aware that my delivery is slower. I've always been, spacey, because I'm in two different dimensions all the time. It feels like I'm not really 100% here and grounded enough. I've fully been aware of it for many, many years, but so this is different what's going on. This is from the spring, I believe, over time, and it's hard to focus, it's hard to come up with words, it's hard to write, it's hard to speak. I have to edit a lot. If I write a post, say, I have to rewrite it like 5 times, because I can't. I used to just come up with things just like this, and now it's like I really have to work at it. So thank you for putting up with that. Like, I know it's frustrating. Trust me, I'm frustrated dealing with it, okay? But you can always, if it's too slow for you or whatever, you can speed it up on YouTube, and let me know if you need to know how to do that. It's very simple. But as you know, I'm so, shadow banned. You can't even find me on YouTube. Before, if you typed in Mary Soliel, went right to my channel, first thing. People tell me all the time they can't find me on YouTube, and I can't find me on YouTube, and I do a search, and my books, I can see clearly now. People can't find the books. That book, since 2014, under unbelievable attack. Never in my wildest dreams. And it was all confirmed when I was teaching a Zoom class. I won't get into it all, but that book and Michael's Sword in You, horribly attacked. That one by 6 people. Well, they did a number on both, actually, but especially did great damage to my work, my warrior work, So it's very hard to get out there, but I'm telling you guys, the bottom line message is nothing's gonna stop me. And we all need that warrior spirit to not let the darkness win. That's what they want. I couldn't sleep like most of the night. I think I got about 2 hours. And here I was so excited to share this with you. I thought, oh my God, how am I gonna speak today? And but again, it's that don't let them win. Keep, be rebellious. Keep fighting it. Nothing will stop me to my last breath here, and I think that we need to have that, courageous, bold stance on things now, and just keep seeking truth, be aware. Crazy things are going on. I'm not going to get into this video. I just want to focus on Christ, God, the messages to these beautiful children out of the mouths of babes. It's the best. To me, they're the most powerful. This, and I'll leave you with this last story that's so profound for me, because I, like many of you, I always wanted to experience the supernatural. I want to see God. I want to see Christ. I want to see Archangel Michael so badly. All of them, the Marys, But I've never had that gift of sight or things like that, and of course never had an NDE, or you would have heard about it 10 times. But I did have this experience that was so profound, and it has to do with my beloved father when he passed. He was in Michigan, I'm in Colorado, and And on the day he passed, and he was in the hospital, and I was for about 2 hours in and out of consciousness, as if I were with him, breathing with him, labored breathing toward the end. And it was like I was melded with him. It was me, it was him, but we were melded together. And then all of a sudden he died, and I was escorting him up to the angels. I mean, I remember going, like we were going up, and there's the angels, and they were overseeing it all. And it was so real. And I was so blissed out. Here my father's dying, but I'm so blissed out. I was feeling what he was feeling, approaching heaven. And I'll never forget, soon after I was due to pick up my daughter from college, and I go to her apartment. She's there. I don't tell her yet, okay? And I open the trunk for her to put her things in, coming home for the weekend. And again, didn't say a word. And she said, "Mom, I see Grandpa in your face." My very tuned in girl. And then my mom died exactly 5 years later on that exact date. They were both 88 years old and in love their whole lives together. Beautiful, beautiful couple, exemplary marriage. And my dad was with me the day she died, on that anniversary date of his death. He was with me, and I shared the story in the past, but basically he guided me to watch this movie that I watched with my beloved parents before, and we used to watch old movies a lot together. And then I knew she was gone. Rest our eyes on the beauty, but most of all, stay connected. Stay connected. Love you.